All right, and welcome to our webinar called Whaja Say? Understanding Fast English. We are presenting to you all the way over from the University of Delaware at the English Language Institute. I am joined today by my wonderful colleagues, Dr. Karen Asanavich and me. But first, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Miss Julie Lopez. I am a teacher, an advisor, and program coordinator. And many years ago, I also was a teacher in Vietnam in Hue. So Vietnam has a very, very special place in my heart, which is why I love making friends with Vietnamese students and faculty. And I have one here with me today. But first, let me welcome my colleague, Dr. Karen Asanavich. Karen?
Thank you, Julie. My name is Dr. Karen Asanavich. I'm the Associate Director of the English Language Institute. I'm the Director of Academic Programs, and I am an affiliated instructor in the Horn Entrepreneurship Program at the University of Delaware. And many years ago, when I was in college, I had a Vietnamese friend named Dr. Min. And we studied science classes together. And later I went to visit Vietnam, and I love Vietnam. It's such a beautiful country.
Okay. Hi, my name is Nhi. I'm currently a senior majoring in entrepreneurship and minoring in management information systems at UD, and I'm happy to be here today.
Right, thank you. So the three of us want to share a little bit about where we live. We are in the tiny state of Delaware, which is in a great location. Just 2 hours to the north of us is New York City, and 2 hours to the south is Washington, D.C. And I'm sure you've heard of those cities, even if you have not heard of Delaware. But our city, Newark, is a beautiful, safe, quiet town with a vibrant university right in the middle of it. So on the weekends, we can go to New York City, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, and Baltimore are also nearby, only an hour away. So it is a great place to focus on your studies and have fun on the weekends. So before I go any further, I want to just point out something about how you call your teacher. When I was in Vietnam, I noticed that my students always called me teacher, teacher, when they had a question. And that didn't quite sound as polite as I was expecting coming from the United States. Because in the United States, we learn people's names. Names are very important. So my family name is Lopez. So the most polite thing to call me is Miss Lopez if you've never met me. Use a term like Ms. or Mr. and then the person's last name. We have quite an informal culture here in Delaware too. So people often go by their first names. So you could also just call me Miss Julie or Julie if we know each other and we are friends. Or if someone has spent a lot of time studying and working hard to earn a PhD or a doctorate, then we want to recognize that and we give them the title doctor. So my colleague and boss, Dr. Karen Asanavich, has earned that degree. So we want to honor her by calling her Dr. Asanavich. And yes, we learn how to pronounce it too, because names are important. So let's move on then to understanding fast English. Today, we have 4 tips to help you understand when people are speaking quickly. First, and probably most important, is you need to predict what the person will say from the context. Second, you have to have an understanding of English word order. Third, learn contractions and reduced sounds, and we'll go over those today too. And then fourth, practice listening for those contractions and the reduced sounds in conversations, in shows, and you will start to understand more and more. So let's go through those. First, stop and think about what a person might say when you're in that situation. For example, what is someone likely to say when they are ordering food? They might say, "What would you like?" Except they're probably not going to say it that clearly because they have to say that question 1,000 times a day to everyone that walks by them. So it's going to sound more like, "What would you like?" And you might only understand "you like," but you know from the context, they're probably asking you what food you want. Now, I have a funny story about traveling to North Carolina, which is a state in the southern part of the United States, and I am not from the South. So they have a different accent, just like Northern Vietnamese, Southern Vietnamese, Central Vietnamese, all different accents. So I was not familiar with the accent in North Carolina. And I went to a fast food restaurant there with my sister. And the person at the counter said, "You want fries with that?" And I had no idea what they were saying. So I asked them, "What?" And they repeated, "You want fries with that?" And I said, "I still don't know what you're saying. What? You want fries with that?" And finally, my sister got so impatient with me, she had to translate for the person and said, "Julie, do you want fries with that?" And then I felt a little bit dumb because if I had just stopped to think about the context, I probably would have figured out just by hearing fries in that sentence, even though it wasn't very clear. So stop and think about the context. What's another context where people might be speaking quickly? If you're working in a lab for your science class, right? Before you go, what might your lab partner say to you? "Do you want to do that? Should I do that? What part do you want to play?" Right? Or, "Okay, what should we do next?" Right? Those might be questions that you would hear that someone would say quickly during the conversation. So besides context, it's really important to understand the English question word order, or just word order for sentences as well. So I am assuming your English teacher there in Vietnam has gone over English question word order. So we're going to go through this quickly with you just to review, because when we speak quickly, it's not going to sound the same. Now here in the United States, esports or video games are definitely very popular, and I think that is true in Vietnam as well. At the university, we even have an entire room dedicated to playing esports. Very popular. So, Nhi, do you like playing video games?
Yes, I do.
You do. So you notice we use the helping verb do you like, right? What is your favorite game?
So my favorite game is League of Legends.
All right, nice. So again, we use the question word with the verb, right? What is your favorite game? And what do you like about that game?
I like that the game allows many people to play together and it helps you reduce stress.
Yeah, I agree. All right. And I'm assuming now as a student, you don't take as much time to play video games, but did you like to play video games when you were younger?
Yes, I did when I was in high school.
Good. So, if it's the past tense, we change the do to the did. This is all familiar to you, I hope, right? But the way I ask those questions doesn't actually sound all that natural to a native speaker, because I said each word individually and I said it very slowly and clearly. Most Americans, or people from the United States or native speakers are going to use contractions and they're going to link the words. So it's really important to not only know them, but to try and use them to, if you want to sound more natural. Contractions are used in speaking and informal writing. So you wouldn't use contractions in an academic essay. So some of the common contractions, which I'm sure your English teacher there in Vietnam has taught you, are used with not, right? Now, one of my favorite activities is not playing video games, but it is skateboarding. Yes, I love it. There are a lot of girls and women who skateboard here in the United States. Karen, have you ever skateboarded?
No, I haven't ever tried to skateboard, Julie.
No, so maybe Karen hasn't tried, right? So instead of saying, I have not ever tried that, she used haven't, right? What about you, Nhi? Have you ever skateboarded?
I'm not good at that, but my friend, she's really good at that.
Do you think your brother and his friends in Vietnam are interested in watching competitions like the X Games and the Do Tour?
Yes, I think they are interested.
Cool. You could tell them to look up X Games skateboarding on YouTube and they will be able to find the competitions there.
Okay, we'll see if they can find it.
Good. So these are common uses of contractions with the be verb. Another common verb used with contractions is have. Karen, would you like to meet me at the skate park near campus this weekend? And I'll give you a skateboarding lesson.
Oh, Julie, I'm sorry. I've already made plans. I wish you would have asked me sooner. Then I could have come.
Yes, so we use the have and we reduce it to sound more natural there. All right, now, we just went the wrong way. What you may not have learned from your English teacher is the schwa. Now, schwa refers to the most commonly reduced sound, It's a very relaxed sound. It's also used as a filler word, and it's written as an upside down E. You can see this E, he's super comfortable. He's relaxed in the sofa. We just say, So you will hear, replacing many common articles, prepositions, verbs. So I'm going to point out the most common uses of schwa. First, with the article a. We don't say a, we say So one of the most popular games in America is football. Every university has a football team. And the students at that school love to go to football games in the fall. Nhi, have you ever did you go to a football game this past fall?
Yes, I had a fun time.
Right. So instead of saying had a, she said, I had a fun time. How about you, Karen? Did you go to a football game?
I had a lot of fun too.
Yeah. She added not only the with the a after hadda, but lotta. So instead of, she said had a lotta. I had a lot of fun too. We even do this with the verbs to after verbs, right? So instead of want to and going to, you probably have heard wanna and gonna. So do you guys want to go again?
Yes, I want to go again.
How about you,
I'm
Karen?
going to try to go, Julie. I'm just going to try to go.
Gonna try. Got to get tickets, right? All right.
Yeah.
So just a reminder, link the words to sound more natural. Another use of schwa is with you. Instead of saying you, we say yeah. And instead of do, we say duh. So one of the other things on campus here and on many college campuses is an ice skating rink. I don't think there are any ice skating rinks in Vietnam, but you can put in the chat if you actually do know, or if you know of an ice skating rink. Now, I did look up, and in Hanoi, I did see skateboarding parks. So if I return to Vietnam, I'm definitely going to check those out. All right, so let's learn about skateboarding. Nhi, coming from Vietnam, I bet you haven't been.
No, I haven't.
What about you, Karen? Oh, yeah. And Nhi, do you want to try to skateboard or try to ice skate?
Yes, sure.
Good. And you noticed I said, do you want to try? But native speakers might even just eliminate the duh and say, yeah, you want to try? And Nhi understood and said, yeah. Now, Karen, she grew up in the Pennsylvania area, Philadelphia, right? Not too far from here. Up there, did you skateboard when you were young? I mean, did you ice skate when you were younger?
Yes, I did skate when I was younger.
And what'd you think of ice skating?
I thought it was hard. I always fell.
You ended up with a lot of bruises, huh?
Yeah.
It is. Ice is hard. So when we use the did plus the you, it sounds like ja. And what did you will sound like whaja. So again, ja ice skate when you were younger? And what'd you think of it? We link the words to sound more natural. And you're gonna hear that sound. All right, so let's practice. You guys get a chance, the audience, to see if you can understand what we are saying when we speak quickly. Are you ready? The first activity is we want you to listen to Karen and I have a conversation, and we're going to use these contractions and the reductions that we just talked about in this order. See if you can hear them during our conversation. All right. Hey, Karen, I know you teach a course at the university. What do you teach?
I teach leadership and entrepreneurship. It's a fun class.
What's fun about it?
Let's see. I want to say that the best thing is that the students work in groups together and learn what their strengths are.
What kind of strengths do they often discover they have?
For instance, some discover that they're resilient and optimistic. Others learn that they're good communicators.
Do you give a lot of tests?
No, it isn't that kind of course at all. Students have to reflect or think about how they respond to situations and how they are growing and developing in their leadership skills.
So is your course hard?
No, it isn't hard. It's based on figuring out who you are as a leader, and it's easy to get an A if you keep up with the assignments and come to class. Want to visit in the fall? I need a guest speaker, and you'd be great.
Thanks. I'll think about it.
Okay.
How did you do? How did you do as the audience? Did you notice? Could you hear when we used some of these contractions and reductions? Do you give a lot of? Right. All right, we'll try another activity. I have a video that we took last Wednesday on campus, and I challenged Nhi to learn how to play Frisbee. And coming from Vietnam, she had seen people do it, but had never done it herself, I think. Nhi, have you ever thrown a Frisbee before?
Nah, this was my first time.
Okay, so as we play the video here, you, the audience, are going to try and answer the questions that we ask. You can answer them to yourself or say it out loud if you want to. We can't hear you because we're way over here in Delaware, but you can still practice like we are having a conversation. All right, so here are Nee's new friends on campus, and you can see it's easy to throw and catch a Frisbee, right? No problem. So Nee, audience, do you think Nee will be able to throw and catch the Frisbee as well as her American friends? Let's see. Oh, she threw it a little high that time. Let's see if she can throw better this time. Not yet. There we go. All right, Nee, did you have them show you any throwing techniques before you started?
No, I just watched them and figured it out.
All right, good. So audience, do you think she can throw it accurately in this next throw? Catch it? Let's see. Oh, do you think she can catch that one? She's getting better. How many catches has she had? Here we go. She got it. How do you think she's doing here? Pretty good for a first timer. Oops.
Julie, where are they playing?
They are playing on the green. This is right in the heart of campus. You see all the buildings around them and a lot of students out watching. Oh, did you see that guy? This is a great way to make friends too. You never know who will want to join in. All right. So audience, what do you think? Do you want to try playing Frisbee too? I think that you can do it if me can. All right. Hopefully you guys there were able to understand the questions and feel like you could participate. I have another challenging activity for you. This is a dictation activity. That means you're going to write down the question that I ask me, right? And then I'll show you what the question is. So me has taken pictures to go along with her answers here. And she has taken some really great pictures on campus this spring. So I'm going to ask the questions 2 times. You, the audience, are going to write down the words, at least the beginning of my question. See if you can understand the fast English that I say. Okay. Why'd you choose UD?
So
Why'd you, oh, one more time. I'm going to say it one more time, right? D, why'd you choose UD?
So I got accepted to a few university, but I chose UD because UD is a safe campus and it has more green spaces and also less traffic. And the most important thing is Delaware has no sales tax, so it saved me a lot of money on living expenses. And also the architecture is diverse.
Yeah, you took a great picture there in Gore Hall. So did you catch that, audience? Why'd you choose UD? Why did you choose UD? Sounds like, why'd you choose UD? Ready for another question? All right. Nee, what's your favorite place on campus? What's your favorite place on campus?
So I usually go to the library.
What do you like about the library?
It's quiet, so it's good for you to go like between classes to take break or studying.
Yeah. Did you catch that? Where's your favorite place on campus? What do you like, or why do you like it there? Where's, why do you, or what do you like? All right, another question. Here we have Nee took a video in one of her classes this week and a picture in one of her classes. So, Nee, what are you majoring in?
So I major in entrepreneurship and minor in management information systems.
And what do you like about your major? What do you
So-
like about your major?
These majors offer to a limited number of students, so which is about 40 students. So everybody really close. Yes.
What do you study in those classes?
So we have a lot of hands-on practice, not much concepts to remember in entrepreneurship classes. Like here, I went to the maker team to make the product from our ideas.
Cool. Okay. Let's see if you caught those questions. They were fast. So again, what are you majoring in? Why'd you choose that major? What do you like about that major? And what do you study in your classes? I said that one differently. Why'd you choose your classes? Or why'd you choose that major? All right, I think we have one more. Again, picture about me. Where do you live? Where do you live?
I live at the Waverly, which is an apartment.
Okay. And how do you get to class? How do you get to class?
I take the shuttle bus every day.
Where do you live? How do you get to class? How do you get to school? All right. So we talked about 4 tips for understanding fast English. First, think about the context and what you expect people to say in that situation. Second, make sure you remember the English grammar your teachers have taught you with word order. Third, make sure you review your contractions and the reduced sounds. The schwa or the sound is going to replace a lot of articles, prepositions, and even some verbs. And then practice listening for it in conversations, in shows, on YouTube. See if you can pick out some of the whaja, kinda language that we taught you here today. If you want to improve your English with us, you can use this QR code to fill out the form and get fun monthly emails with tips from us. And in the chat in a minute, you will also see that you could come to Delaware in the heart of the Northeast. We have programs for high school students in the summertime. This summer, it's going to be from July 10th to August 4th. We have a program called EDGE for advanced English speakers, and you could take 1 to 2 college classes for credit. You can also experience college-like classes in our Level Up Academics program. That's for intermediate to advanced speakers. And if you are a beginner or an intermediate speaker, there's Language Adventure. So fill out the form that I mentioned before, and we'd be happy to send you information about those programs, or you can just stay on our mailing list and we'll send you monthly emails with tips for improving your English like we've shared today. You can also feel free to email us, me, Julie, or Nhi, if you want to ask about her experience living in the United States. We are happy to answer your questions. Let's see now what questions we have from our audience in Vietnam. All right, Karen, I see. Oh, you want to take some of those questions, Karen?
Sure. Are there any requirements to apply for the English program at UD? And I'm going to give a link here and ask our host to make that available to you. This is the undergraduate admissions requirements for international students at the University of Delaware. Let's see, should I do the next one, Julie?
Yeah, go ahead and do the second one.
Great. Do you offer the English program online? We can offer the English program online, and it would be helpful if you fill in that form and let us know that you're interested, and we will work with you to offer a course.
Okay, question 3 then is, do you have any advice for international students to speak English correctly? That's a good one. There are lots of things you can do. I think, listening a lot to native speakers, watching the shape of their mouth, right? Trying to imitate the people who speak English in the style that you like. Some people may use vocabulary that you don't want to imitate. So think about that person. If that's someone that you would want to imitate, that would be a good person. Speaking correctly. I think the best way to learn how to speak correctly is to get lots of feedback, right? Try it. Get someone to tell you whether you're doing it correctly or not. That could be a teacher. That could be a pen pal or someone you meet who speaks English fluently. That could be doing exercises that have the answer keys. You have anything you might add, Karen?
I wonder about watching some television programs, American television programs that are in English, or maybe some podcasts. But I'd like to ask Nee if she has any ideas.
Yes. So I have great tips so when I first came here, I was so shy to speak English. Like I was scared. And I think that you don't be scared to speak English, like even your accents not too good, but you have to speak so others can give you feedback. If you don't speak, nobody can give you any feedback. Yes.
That is so great, Nee. In fact, the next question is really about that. And the question is it okay if I speak with an accent? Would my teacher and friends in college be able to understand me? Nee, what do you think?
I think that would be fine. Like when I first came here, I didn't even speak English right, and I even pronounce a word wrong when I hang out with my friend, and the word factory, I didn't say factory, but I said the F word, factory, and they all laughed at me. So yeah, I think it's fine. Yes.
You have to learn how to laugh at yourself and people understand, right? And the most important thing is they want to communicate with you and they want to try and understand you. And they don't care if you have an accent or not. It's more important what you communicate.
You can learn more from your mistakes.
Yeah. Yep. I made a lot of mistakes speaking in Vietnamese. I still do. All right. Question 5. I really like your sharing. I have one question. Can you give some good sources to practice English? Yes, I think, the reason we're going to send out the monthly emails too is to provide you with sources to check out that we have found useful and accurate and fun. So fill out the form. Maybe Karen, did you put the link to the form in the chat too? And they can always click on the link if you didn't get the QR code. I can go back to fill out the form on this QR code and we can send you links. We can send you sources that would be good to practice English. All right, next question is, sometimes native speakers speak really fast. I cannot catch all the words. I totally understand. What is your tip in listening to native speakers? That is those 4 tips that we just shared today. That is how I would approach and try and improve how well you can understand native speakers who are speaking quickly. All right. Anything else you guys would add? Nhi, what has helped you when native speakers speak really fast?
I would say try to hear like the highlight word, like the keyword in the questions, and then you're gonna like guess from there.
Yeah, exactly. Then you use what you've learned from your English teacher about word order and the context to help you guess the rest. Don't feel like you have to understand every word they say. Even native speakers, when I listen to other people talking to me, I don't always understand everything they say clearly, but I just pick out the keywords like Nhi says, and I figure out what they're saying. And just remember, you do that in your own language and in foreign languages as well. Karen, did you have anything else you would add?
No, I think you have done a great job. I just put the link in there
Okay. Great.
to the form.
So we have another question. Can I continue to improve my English in your program while studying my graduate program at your university? Karen, you want to take that one?
Yes, which question number was that, Julie?
7.
7. Can I continue to improve my English? Yes, you can actually. And we have a variety of ways that you can do that. If you are very strong in English already, you can take specially developed writing classes for you, as well as take advantage of the Writing Center and the Oral Communication Center. If you are a student who needs a little bit more English, then we welcome you to the ELI in a program that is both a conditional admissions, so you can take English until your English gets very strong, or you can also take a program while you're taking courses and taking English courses at the same time. So you're earning credit, graduate credit, and you're earning English credit. And not only can you do that as a graduate student, but you can do that as an undergraduate student. So you can take English and take credit-bearing courses at the same time. And that way you can improve all the way around. Does that help, Julie?
Yeah. So that is what we are here for, is to support students, international students at the university, to help them be successful with their language, and also just adjusting to university classes and culture. Question 8. Can you put the form link here? Yes. Okay. Yes. Question 9. I feel very shy when trying to imitate native English speakers. I feel like I over-exaggerate. What should I do? I agree about feeling shy when you're learning a foreign language. And Nhi was saying she has too. My first foreign language was German, and it was hard for me to overcome my fear of making mistakes or sounding wrong as well. And once I was able to overcome that, I felt a lot more free to make mistakes, and I could actually communicate better because I was a little more relaxed. I think it's okay if you over exaggerate. Sometimes that's helpful in the beginning to really pronounce the words correctly. And sometimes you have to do that to make sure that your lips and your tongue and your teeth are all in the right position, because they might have to be in positions that are uncomfortable for a while. So if you do that and they start becoming more comfortable, then I think you will start to feel less like you're exaggerating or less like you have to exaggerate as well. So maybe some of that over exaggeration is just you feeling uncomfortable with these new mouth positions. So keep trying. Remind yourself that it's okay if you don't say things correctly. People just want to understand and communicate. They care less about whether you're perfect and exact. What would you guys say, Karen and Yi?
I would say you can practice in front of the mirror, like when I went to the when I go to the bathroom, like I'm gonna practice by myself like crazy in there. It was like the actors. Yeah.
I think it's thank you, Nee, for saying that. That's a great idea. I could just see you in front of the mirror. I think it's great too to watch and listen to other people and listen to what they say and words they use to respond, because that is very helpful. I know a lot of American college students use like I went to the store and like I had my book and like I, and so a lot of like, but do you think so, Nee? Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, we use like a lot. So, and it's very specific, I think, to college students. But listening to what other people say, then you kind of mimic them, right?
Yes.
Repeat them.
Yeah, you repeat them, repeat their sentences.
That's right.
Julie, for question number 10, did you see in the chat? Unfortunately, I noticed that the registration to that link is not available, but I just recommended that everybody send an email to Julie. Julie, is that okay? They send an email to you? And your email, which I just put in there for everyone to see, is julo@udel.edu. And Julie will get right back to you and send you the form and answer any questions that you might have.
Yeah, when we correct it, we have someone else who created the form. So we'll get that corrected and I will send you that form. But I'm happy to receive emails from you. I love connecting with Vietnamese people. All right, and students in particular. Question 11, can I have the opportunity to practice my English with American students while studying in your class? Or there's something covering that. Or there will be international students in the class only. Oh, good question, right? Are there American students in our classes or just international students? The English Language Institute where we teach is just international students, but in our program, we hire students from the university to come and be peer mentors. So they come and you meet with them and they show you around the campus. They go out and have coffee with you or go to activities with you so that you can meet other students on campus and become part of the campus. That way it's not just you with other international students. But in the classes learning English, it is just international students. What would you say, Karen?
I would agree. And I would also add that we have mentors, but we also are involved with many other American students through the World Scholar Program and in the engineering department, and also in learner business and in entrepreneurship. One of the entrepreneurship class that I teach is in the building where the English classes are held, so you can talk to students when they're there. We also have many other activities throughout campus and are involved with American students. So we're right in the middle. A lot of times an English language program is often in another building somewhere, but we're not. We're right in the middle of downtown Newark where the restaurants are, and it's a great opportunity to meet American students and talk with them. Nee, what do you think? Have you met lots of Americans?
Yes. And also I speak to random people I saw on the bus sometimes to just say hi and then start the conversation with them. Or my roommate, they are American, so I can practice with them.
Great, really good insights, Nee. I forgot about the bus and just like striking up a conversation with somebody. Good job.
Right. But you're taking university classes on campus. I think that's all in English. You only have Americans in most of your classes, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Another question I see is there any scholarships for international students at UD? They do have scholarships. When you apply, they will automatically apply scholarships to those who have a high standing, good academics. There may be other scholarships you can apply to external of the university, but the university does notice if you come from an area of the world like Vietnam, where they want to encourage and make it available for more students to come. Do you know of any other scholarships, Karen?
The only other one, and you talked a little bit about it, is for honors students. In the honors program, there's often a scholarship for students, again, who have very high scores. But it doesn't hurt to ask when you apply and to look and see what might be available. Sometimes also when you come, you may not get something before you come, but once you're on campus, there are many other opportunities that you just need to be made aware of, and others can help you, advisors and other people can help you with that.
You can, for example, you can work on campus too and earn money while you're studying, and the jobs can be convenient because they're right on campus. So that's one way to also reduce the costs. And Nhi lives off campus in an apartment, but the UD shuttle bus goes and picks her up. So she can choose how much she wants to pay for rent, sort of in that way. Right, Nhi? How do you feel about the cost of living in the apartment?
I feel that it's really good here, like compared to other cities, because I have visited my friend in like big cities, and like everything is really expensive there, like because they add the sales tax and everything. But like here, I can save money like on the transportation because I use the school bus.
Yep, which is free.
Yes.
I think the other thing about working on campus is it also improves your English too.
Yep.
So
And builds your resume.
It does.
When you're
really
applying
does.
for jobs, you have some experience.
Exactly.
Next question, very good one. What is the safety measure for international students at your campus? So Nhi, can you tell them whether you feel safe or not, or what makes you feel safe on campus?
I feel safe here because like the school, they have like their like kind of like their own police department here. So like in like most of the corner, they're gonna have like a couple police stay there, and like I feel like comfortable walking outside at night because a lot of people there. So
Right, yeah, UD does have their own police department. They also have blue lights all over campus, where if you want a police person to escort you home so you don't have to walk alone, a police person will come and walk with you or give you a ride to place within the campus area. I think that's really nice. Also, all of the buildings, you can't access the dorms, the library, the gym without your ID card. That you have to use that to go in and out. So strangers can't come into the residence halls where the students live. They can't walk into the library without being a student and having proper access. So that also provides safety measures.
yeah.
Any other safety things that you can think of, Karen?
I think you said it in the very first or second slide. We're a small town. It's not too small, it's just right. And because of that, we don't have crime like you see in big cities. And a lot of times we see a lot of that in, when you're watching television in the United States, but it doesn't happen in Newark and in Delaware. I think mostly, what we hear? We hear the helicopters when Joe Biden is flying around. And
That's right. Yes, we didn't mention the current president, President Biden, graduated from the University of Delaware along with his wife. So they often come to visit and give speeches on campus. All right. Next question. Do you have any tips for the speaking part of the IELTS?
Can I answer that, Julie?
Yes, please do.
Great. So I am an IELTS examiner. I have been. And the speaking part of the test is very interesting. A lot of it is usually there's a topic, and the topic, whatever that might be, it might be friends, it might be family. And the questions, which you can find in any IELTS book that you might want to study from, go from describing or talking about somebody, moving all the way up to your opinions about someone. So the questions are getting more and more complex. And an examiner is listening for your vocabulary, that you use a lot of strong and accurate vocabulary. So you can say, I saw that big truck on the street, but you could also say, there was a very large transport machine that moved quickly down the street. There's a big difference between those two sentences. Did you want to say something, Julie, to that?
No, I just wasn't sure I've ever heard anyone refer to it as a big transport machine, large transport machine.
Great vocabulary there.
Like a semi truck with a lot of
semi truck, right? So the idea is to use vocabulary. The other part of the IELTS test is your pronunciation, and you can stop and, like we suggested, listening to programs on audiobooks or podcasts or television. If you can figure out the specific sounds that you struggle with, and maybe we'll ask Nee in a minute here, what are some specific pronunciations, issues that she has, that can help you, because then you can practice those before you go in, and you really have to practice to get those correct. Nee, do you have some specific pronunciation? You mentioned one before with the F, using F. Are there other pronunciation that are different in English and Vietnamese?
Yes. So I couldn't speak the word, recognize the difference between word and the word. And then because I couldn't say the L sounds in the middle from the word
world.
Yeah, the word. You had to have the L sound there to recognize the difference between the two words.
The L word.
Yeah.
You might have to hold that sound longer. Think about, is my tongue on the roof of my mouth, right?
Yeah,
Thinking about the position.
Yes.
And also, a lot of Vietnamese speakers leave off the S endings on verbs and plural nouns. So practice linking those with the next word too. She has a lot of fun. Don't forget the S endings too, I would say. All right, next question. Those were great advice. Descriptive words, right? Accurate pronunciation, like Karen said. Next question. How can I know which level in your English program should I apply? So quick answer to that, we would send you a test, an English test ahead of time before you come so that we can place you into the correct level at our program. We have 6 different levels, and then we can tell which it is. If you already have taken the TOEFL or the IELTS or Duolingo, you can also send those scores to us, and then we can tell you which level you would be in when you come. And 16, the next question, how much does it cost to complete a level? So that would depend on what level you enter in, right? Karen, do you want to say more about that one?
Right. It depends on the level that you enter. It also depends on the program that you choose. You can choose a very basic English language program, and people who are doing that for professional reasons often choose that. But you might want to choose an academic program, which is a little bit more expensive. You also might want to apply for academic transitions, where you're getting English and credit-bearing courses to go to UD. So every program is priced slightly differently. And if you write to Julie, we can be sure to give you the links to those pages. In fact, what I will do is I will put the link to the English Language Institute in the chat. So just give me a few moments and I will put it there.
Yep, and then you can see the price for each program as well. Yep, next one. Do you have advice in writing essay? I often run out of words to write and repeat the same words. So as an instructor, I would say, think about ways you can support your ideas. So think of examples, think of stories, experiences, facts. Think of different ways you can support the idea. That will give you more to also write about. And it will give you content and depth to really show the point you're trying to make. Karen, do you have anything else? I'm not sure if you had a chance to listen. Essay
I
writing
did.
advice, not running
Right.
out of words.
Yes, I use something called a thesaurus. Even now, I have my PhD, I still use a thesaurus because sometimes I'll use a silly word like transport that Julie talked about. And I look at that and I realize and I think, oh, there's a better word than that. And so I use a thesaurus, and I will also look up that link for you. The challenge with a thesaurus is, though, you have to find the right word. Sometimes there's so many words, you have to find it. But I think a good way to be a good writer is to be a good reader. If you are reading books in English, that will really help you. And we've talked about in our next time that we talk with you, talking more about reading and how to develop your reading skills, because that's how you develop vocabulary. Nee, I see you shaking your head.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good. Julie, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. The best writers are really good readers. That's true. All right, we just have, I think, a few more minutes left, so let's get through. We have 2 more questions that I can see. One question is, does speaking English like a native help in getting a job after graduation? Likewise, is it a disadvantage if I don't speak English well when applying to jobs in the US? I have some thoughts. I think that communicating well is very important. Communicating well doesn't mean you have to sound like a native speaker. It means that you have to know when to be polite, how to say things in the right manner, so that you don't sound too aggressive or pushy or demanding, that you sound thankful and willing to collaborate. So I think there's more about communication than just having a perfect accent. I think the accent isn't as important, right? What would you say, Karen?
I know that having good English is important to get a job in the United States because we are very people-centered. Even if you're working in computer sciences, you still have to communicate. And so developing the skills that you need for the field that you'll work in or want to work in will be very important for you. You don't have to know every single word in English, but you should know how to talk in the field that you want to study in. And so that kind of English, which we also offer, is English for specific purposes, sometimes for business, sometimes for engineering, because there's different English in each of those areas of study. I think the most important thing is if you want to do that, then you will be able to do that. I was just reading something the other day, and it was talking about an athlete, and she said, I will what I want. And I thought about that, and I thought she makes it happen. So if you want a job and you want to speak English well, then you will develop that. I had a student many, many years ago. This was many years ago before internet. And he was from India, Gujarat. Very difficult to understand his pronunciation. But he used to call 1-800 numbers on the phone, okay? And he would listen and talk to the people at the 1-800 numbers. And that's how he improved his English. Who would guess, right? So
Those are 1-800 numbers are people who are trying to sell products to you or get you to buy things.
yes.
So he wasn't actually like trying to buy things. He was just listening and to have the conversation, right?
Right, exactly.
That's fun. Okay, we have the last question. Oh, from Tao Hien. Oh, Tao Hien is one of my best friends in Vietnam. I don't know if you are my best friend, probably not, because you're not in high school anymore, but I love Tao Hien. Thank you for writing, Tao Hien. And for saying your sharing is very helpful. Could you please tell me how to apply for online speaking and writing courses? So again, you can email me, the JULO@UDEL, and I can provide you with the different courses we have available. And you can see if one of those fits your needs. That looks
Julie,
like the last. Oh yeah, go ahead, Karen.
Can I add something? I have a question for you, all of you. We would love to know what kind of online courses you would like. So you could write to Julie and tell her that, or maybe you could write to me because she's helping us with all the work that we do with Vietnam. So we would love to hear what kind of courses you would like to take, and we can create those for you. But I do want to give one quick shout. Oh, Nee, go ahead.
So I want to say, like, you can email me in Vietnamese or English, both.
And I just want to give a real quick shout out to Mr. Nguyen. He likes Red Dead Redemption 2, an e-gaming program. He talked to us very early on. And Mr. Long wishes our program success. So I want to say thank you for giving us those comments early on.
Yes, thank you for tuning in today, being interested. We're happy to have you as an audience and to be all the way here in Delaware. Talking to you in Vietnam is very exciting for us. We hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us. And I want to thank Karen and Nhi also for joining me and making this a fun webinar. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you so much.